Welcome. Today, we will be installing the modular subframe, which is the first step in the Humvee top install process. Step 1. Drill a 3/16" pilot hole using the 7/16" bolts from step 2 as locator pins. Use a 1/2" bit for the final hole size. Repeat for the opposite side of the vehicle. Grind the indicated rivet flat on the driver and passenger side of the vehicle to allow the new C-pillar to sit flat. Step 2. Loosely install the C-pillar seatbelt bracket with the 1/4" screws with lock tight. You can now loosely bolt down the C-pillar with 7/16" hardware. These bolts will be tightened in a later step. Note that some variants of Humvees will come with pre-installed press fit nuts and some may not. Remove the stock military B-pillar before proceeding to the next step. You may need to grind off the portion of the B-pillar reinforcement plate that sticks above the aluminum if your Humvee was up-armoured. Step 3. Attach the nut plates to the high-strength B-pillar mending plates. Leave enough play to allow the plate to slide back and forth. Assemble 2 left-hand versions and 2 right-hand versions. Step 4. Attach the B-pillar mending plates to the new B-pillar. Be sure that the nut plates are facing inboard. Fully tighten the screws at this time. Drop the new B-pillar into place. Step 5. Install 2 B-pillar shims as shown. Do not fully tighten until the next step. Please note that some of these bolts may need to be left out for door strikers and limit straps. Align the B-pillar at this time and fully tighten all of the bolts. Step 6. Attach bracket as shown with 3/16" rivets. Repeat for opposite side. Install the driver side and passenger side rear door jamb to the C-pillar with 3/16" rivets. Prepare the A pillar by removing the stock military soft top header rail. Clean any remaining foam, sealant or grime from the A pillar. This will provide a good sealing surface for your new top. Step 7. We will be installing the aluminum A pillar cap. Butyl rubber sealant will be used to allow adjustment during the install process to prevent the sealant from setting early. Apply a thick bead of sealant around the interior perimeter of each cap as shown. Note that a different style cap will be included with the kit, depending on if you purchase the removable top or the fixed top. Place the cap on the corner of the A pillar. Step 8. Separate the roof mount bushing and place half of it on top of the roof mount bracket along with the aluminum washer. Place the gutter rail on the A, B, and C pillar. Loosely install 2 10-32 flat head screws with Loctite. Align the holes at the C pillar and loosely install 6 10-32 button head screws with Loctite. If alignment is difficult, make sure that the 7/16 bolts holding down the C pillar are still loose. If you will be installing the removable top, place 4 rivets as shown. If you are planning on installing the fixed top, place clecos in these 4 holes. You can also use a pin to help align the holes. Loosely install 4 10-32 button head screws with Loctite. Use these temporary rivets called clecos to attach the gutter rail to the A pillar cap. In some cases, things may not line up so easily because of variations in the Humvee. In this case, we used a ratchet strap to pull the A and B pillar together. You could also loosen the bolts that attach the A pillar to the body. You may also need to push the A and B pillar apart with a spreader clamp, depending on your vehicle. Finish riveting the previously installed rivets and tighten the remaining screws on the gutter rail. Remember, if you are installing the fixed top, put clecos in these 4 holes instead of rivets. Step 9. We will be installing the other half of the roof bushing. Use a screwdriver or pin to align the floating nut that is pre-installed in the gutter rail. Install the roof bushing with the 3/8 inch bolt and washer. Tighten at this time. Check the new Z bracket for level with your eye. If it is sloping downward like ours is, you will need to install a shim. We will be using the 1/16 thick shim. Loosen the 3/8 bolt. We now have a gap that we can slide the shim in. Tighten the bolt and check for level. It just needs to be close, not perfect. We ended up using a 3/16 inch shim on the driver's side, which shows how inconsistent these Humvees can be. Now we can remove one of the clecos and match drill through the A-pillar cap into the A-pillar. Install a rivet and repeat for the other two holes. If you are installing a fixed top, leave this rivet out. Step 11. Drill a hole with a 1/8 inch bit. Use a rivet to hold in place while drilling the second hole. Apply Sikaflex 221 as shown and rivet into place. Clean up sealant and apply a bead along this seam. Locate the trim piece with an L on top. Install in the same fashion as the previous trim piece on the left side of the B-pillar. Repeat for the right side. Next, we will be installing the A-pillar trim piece. Because of variations in the Humvee A-pillars, there may be large gaps. If you would like, you can bend and form the trim piece to fit the A-pillar better. Now, we will be filling the large gap between the A-pillar cap and the A-pillar with Sikaflex 221. Use something flat like a piece of cardstock to scrape the sealant flat. This joint needs to be flat and clean because this is where the top will seal against to prevent water leaks. Step 12. Install the interior gutter rail panels with 10 32 screws. These panels can be painted or wrapped in leather or vinyl before installation. You can also run electrical wiring through these channels for lights if needed. Step 13. Install the C-pillar interior panel with self-tapping screws. This panel can also be painted or wrapped. Before moving on to step 14, install the fixed or removable top, followed by the fixed or removable back. The bed partition in step 14 should be the last item installed. Step 14. We will be installing the bed partition. You have the option to install the divider as we will be, which creates more room in the cab, or reversed, which creates more room in the bed of the Humvee. Clamp the partition in place as shown. Match drill through the 4 existing holes in the back of the cab. Remove the partition and apply a bead of Sikaflex 221 along the row of holes previously drilled. Put the partition back into place and install 4 rivets. Locate one of the 2 plastic gap fillers with the pointed shoulder. Locate one of the 2 corrugations in the Humvee bed where there is a riveted lap joint. The pointed shoulder will drop into place on top of this lap joint. Square up the bed partition and see if any rivets are going to get in the way of the plastic gap filler. If there is any interference, you can either grind the rivet flat or notch the plastic like we have done. Repeat for the other lap joint. In our case, the other joint did not have any rivets in the way. Now, place the square on the outside of the bed partition. Push the floor mounting bracket up against the partition from the inside and mark the location. Repeat for the opposite side. Place the 2 plastic gap fillers with the pointed shoulder a few inches in front of the partition. Place the remaining 9 plastic gap fillers in similar fashion. Apply 2 beads of Sikaflex along the bed and along the row of rivet holes indicated by the red lines. Place all of the bed fillers against the bed partition followed by the floor mounting bracket. Make sure the floor mounting bracket lines up with the marks you made on the bed and screw down the bracket with 11 self-drilling screws. Match drill along the bottom row of holes of the bed partition into the floor mount bracket and rivet together. Apply more Sikaflex as needed along the bottom joint. Next, we will be installing the side mounting brackets. Drill and cleco the bracket as shown. Move to the outside of the partition and repeat. Now, remove the bracket. Apply liberal amount of Sikaflex. Error on the heavy side to prevent leaks. Place rivets in all of the holes and work your way down, alternating inside and outside. Clean up excess sealant. Step 15. Match drill through the aluminum trim piece with a 1/8 inch drill bit. Place a rivet into the hole to hold the trim piece in place while you drill the second hole. Apply Sikaflex and rivet. The subframe installation is now complete.